White here, and I'd love to give you an update of Lightroom on iPad. It actually sneaked in towards the end of the year of 2025, and you may have missed it because it happened during the holiday season. You might not have been paying attention. So let's dive right into Quick Actions now on iPad. So Quick Actions was first introduced on iPhone or mobile, and became a quick popular favorite for people that work on the go because it allowed you to do things quickly without having to do a whole bunch of masking first, or without even having to know how to do a lot of things. So the Quick Actions icon is actually up in the upper right-hand corner. Looks like a little magic wand icon. And when you go to it, the very first thing you get to do is hit auto. Now the auto tone is no different than the auto tone in the regular detail panel. But we're just going to go ahead and choose it there because it's there. So that was the whole point of putting that button there, just to make it more convenient. Now that we're there, we can now dive into the other 4 categories of quick actions that make quick actions what they are. So first and foremost is enhance. When I go to enhance, and by the way, I am using my Apple Pencil. We'll see that a little bit later and why that's important, but you can do it absolutely with your finger. So first and foremost, I get subject, background, and because this photo has vegetation, I get vegetation. So typically you're going to get subject and background. You may get vegetation, you may get landscape, you may get ground, or you may get water, you may get all kinds of things depending on your photo. So in this case, it sees those 3 things and I can adjust those 3 things separately. So once again, just dragging the subject mat or subject slider, it's made a mask of the subject automatically without me having to do a select subject. So I can make the subject stand out just a little bit or not. Let's pull it over to the right a little bit. There we go. A little bit more, not negative. There we go. And background, same thing. I can enhance the background or de-enhance the background to kind of make the subject stand out more. And because this photo does have vegetation in it, I get a vegetation slider to control the amount of enhancement on the vegetation. Again, all of these are optional. All of these are non-destructive. You do not have to drag any slider. You drag the ones you want. So I'll hit apply, and that takes care of what's in enhance. And again, enhance will vary depending on your photo. Subject. Now, usually if there's a clearly defined subject, it will give you the option, especially if it's a person, to make the subject pop or give you these presets. So for example, you could just use these sliders to do exposure and saturation, but if you didn't know what you were doing or you wanted some suggestions, that's what Quick Actions is all about. So I can try pop. It's okay. Warm pop. I like that one. Light. Not a fan. Warm light, not a fan. Balanced contrast is usually my favorite, but in this case, it's a little too much. And with all of these, you get a slider for the amount, so I can pull down balanced contrast a little bit to make it more to my liking. But we'll keep going. Soft, ooh, I really like soft. Cool soft, not a fan. Vibrant, ooh, I really like vibrant. And glow. So I'm going to go back to vibrant. I think that was my favorite. And again, I can drag the slider up or down to control how vibrant it gets. It's really adjusting the contrast, especially in her hair. Now, also, since the subject is selected in this subject category, you get the ability to adjust the exposure of the subject. So if your subject was too dark, you can brighten up your subject, or if your subject was too bright, you can darken them. And saturation. I typically don't do a lot of saturation on people because of the skin tones, but it's nice to have that ability to do it. So I can say apply at the very bottom there. And then once I'm done with subject, we'll move on to my favorite category, and that is retouch, since I shoot a lot of portraits. So retouch currently has blemishes, skin, teeth, eyes, hair, and clothing, and it will automatically adjust those things. Now, this person has 0 blemishes. So tapping blemishes will not do anything different. It will not show me anything. But just so you know, if you had a person with a lot of pimples, or maybe they didn't like their freckles or whatever, you can tone them down. It usually doesn't completely remove everything, but it tones it down quite a bit. And the best part is you get a slider to control how much. So blemishes are one of those sensitive things that depends on the subject, whether or not they even want their blemishes touched or not. So again, it's up to you and your subject. But skin, that's another one I usually don't do a lot with, because with skin, here we'll reset it. Skin retouching can look too fake. It can look too plasticky. And what I love about the skin retouching inside of Lightroom is that it's very subtle. So that's nothing. If I pull it around to 50%, that still looks good. I can still see her pores. I can still see the lines. I still see the things that make skin look like skin. So I would never take it up to 100. Usually I would just keep it around 50 or less and just get a slight amount of skin retouching if I'm going to use it at all. Skin softening. And then we're going to move over to teeth. Now her teeth are perfect. Her teeth don't need any brightening, but that's a whole industry of whitening teeth. So again, that's no amount of whitening, and we can make it a little bit too much if you put it all the way over. So I'm going to probably just make it a little bit of subtle whitening there. Not a big difference, not night and day, but just a subtle amount. Now I do love using the eye feature. The eyes, because it just gives a little bit more pop in the eyes. It just brings out a little bit more detail, brightens them a little bit. Don't go too far. Pull it back, I'd say probably in the 30 to 20 to 40 range, 20 to 50 range, tops for eyes. And again, depending on your subject. Now, hair is one of those cool ones that just really shows the detail in the hair. So it starts off smooth. We can pull it all the way down, and we can pull it all the way up and see everything in between. So with the detail for hair, I kind of like it more towards the detail side as opposed to the soft side. It just basically makes it look like the hair has been sharpened, and sometimes even adds like a little, what looks like a hair light. Now she's wearing a white blouse. Clothing is not going to do anything to that white blouse. Though it had a lot of colors in it, it had a lot of details in it, you could enhance that. But just like the same thing with blemishes, she doesn't really have any. Her clothing is pretty solid white. It's not going to really do much for that, but you do have that option for people that are wearing different color clothes. Okay, next up, that was Retouch, and I love Retouch. And last but not least is background. Now you notice that background did a quick scan, again, isolating the subject. And you'll notice that the very first category is blur. This is basically using lens blur. These are all the presets for lens blur. So these aren't really going to do a whole lot, these shapes of the lens blur, because like it's not going to do it on the vegetation. But if there were lights or you want to create a nice bokeh pattern with the amount of blur that you give it and the shape, then you would be able to see it. So I can tone that all the way down, or I can tone it all the way up and make it look fake. Let's pull it back a little bit more, and maybe somewhere in between there. All right, and separately, you do get exposure and saturation for the background. So this is now just the background. So if I wanted to bring the background down even more to make the subject stand out, I love being able to darken the background just with a slider. And you have saturation for the background. So to make the background less saturated or more saturated without touching the subject. And again, we'll hit apply. Now let's see our before and after. I'm just going to hold my finger down on the image. That's where we started. That was the before, unretouched raw image out of my camera. And that's our after right here in Lightroom without doing anything else. But there's one more thing. I noticed it when I was zoomed in. She has this strand of hair coming down her face, and none of that is in Quick Actions. That's actually going to be a job for the Remove tool. We're going to go to the Remove tool. We're going to drag the slider, make the brush a little smaller. That's where the Apple Pencil is going to come in, because I can get a nice, clean, easy stroke with the Apple Pencil to remove that strand of hair that's bugging me, and it's gone now. All right, same thing here. Got a couple strands. We'll let that one go first. And then we'll kind of maybe get this one too. Maybe go up on that one some more and on that one while we're there. Great, and we got some under the eyes here. So I tend to do these generative removes at the very end because that's the proper stacking order for these kinds of edits. So you don't get that yellow warning saying, hey, you did things out of order. Oh, there's one more I see over here. I just noticed it. Let's get that one too. And this is a great platform for doing these kind of retouches on. So now we got our finished image. Here's our before, here's our after, ready to share with the client, with Instagram, with whoever your social media followers are. So with that said, go check out the latest version of Photoshop, or not Photoshop, well, you can check that out too, but the latest version of Lightroom on iPad, as well as on your phones, because your phones have quick actions as well. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.